freaking go! Wow, Payton Thorne commits to Auburn. I'm going to need you guys on the plains to give me your honest thoughts. Do you feel he is the better option over Robby Ashford? Because right now, it seems like an overwhelming consensus that Thorne is going to come in and win this job for Hugh Freeze's high-powered offense, okay? Now, I understand why Payton Thorne decided to make this decision going from 5-7 Michigan State to a potential opportunity here in the SEC. And look, Auburn just lost quarterback TJ Finley to the transfer portal, and let's be honest, TJ Finley was not good. So, Payton Thorne comes over. Let's see what he can do. Does he give you the same dual threat ability as, let's say, a Robby Ashford? That is without reasonable doubt, no. But he can give you a little something as a runner. But for the most part, he is a pretty stale pocket passer. And keep in mind, Michigan State, even though their offensive scheme looked dysfunctional, as you see in the background here, they had not one but two abso-freaking-lutely amazing receivers to throw the football to. One named Jaden Reed, who was drafted by the Green Bay Packers, and another by the name of Keon Coleman, who is currently in the portal. He is from the state of Louisiana, and of course LSU is going to try to reel him in. But Payton Thorne played in an offense that was very clunky at Michigan State. More so defensively is where their issues lied. And look, he was an up-and-down quarterback. You take a look at his overall QBR. This was a guy who had a QBR of 69 on the season, which is not great. Normally, you want that QBR to be in the 75s. It's normally pretty good. 50 is an average quarterback's QBR, so 69 isn't the worst. And keep in mind, we have seen quarterbacks make a shift to a new school and hit another level. Take another Big Ten quarterback, Michael Penix, who is a QB of Washington. He was one of the best QBs in all of college football, and at Indiana, he was okay. The same thing is true with a former Auburn quarterback, and Bo Nix, another transfer quarterback who left Auburn, went to Oregon, and once again was one of the top 10 quarterbacks according to Pro Football Focus. So sometimes a change of scenery, a better offensive system, which Auburn is going to provide, is going to be a breath of fresh air for Payton Thorne, because there were times where his pass protection broke down. There were some times where the play calling just didn't make a lot of sense, according to Spartan fans that I've spoken to up to this point. So, look, I think this is a very good thing for the Auburn Tigers. This is a guy who has played a lot of football, and we have seen, outside of just a few rare cases with some truly special players, let's say a Bryce Young in year 2, a Trevor Lawrence in year 1, more often than not, these successful quarterbacks are older. But a guy who has quite a few starts at Auburn is still there. So, let's take a look at Robby Ashford, okay? Bam! I'm looking at you. Don't forget about our friends at Underdog Fantasy. Sign up down below, promo code Carter, get you that bonus. Best ball drafts, NBA, NFL, NHL, all kinds of cool stuff, UnderdogFantasy.com. So let's do a stats comparison here before we get into some Robby Ashford highlights. You see Payton Thorne last year. Yeah, there were some really rough games mixed in there. The Minnesota game, 17-24, no tutties, 2 INTs, and a 9 QBR. And then this Ohio State game, that makes sense. Ohio State's the best team. 11 of 18 for 113 and only 1 tutty and 1 INT. So one thing I like to see from a quarterback, though, do you get better as the season moved on? And as you move up here, Payton Thorne's QBRs for the rest of the year did not sink below 68. They were all north of 70. So the 69.4 QBR actually turns out to look to be pretty good because he played his best football at the end of the season. Okay? So let's take a look at Robby Ashford, and you'll see he wasn't the starter early in the season. They're still deciding between him, TJ, and Calzada never really got going at Auburn. The one thing about Robby's stats is it was very strange to see how little he would actually throw the football. You see back-to-back weeks where he threw 38 passes, 19 completions, 13 completions. Not very good. His only really good passing line was this Arkansas game, and Arkansas secondary was so bad. And this is fine, especially at the collegiate level, to run the football a lot at the quarterback position. But this lets you know that he was a tuck and run quarterback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games this past season where he rushed the football 15 times or more. That is absolutely absurd. So let's do a little Robby Ashford film study here really quickly. But first, this is the Auburn quarterback room right now, okay? We're focusing mostly on Ashford and Thorne today, but they did bring in Hank Brown for the class of 2023, a 3-star that I believe was once committed to Liberty, I say Liberty, where Hugh Freeze once was. Very interesting. And then they also still have Holden Geriner, who actually is the highest ranked quarterback via their high school recruiting profiles. But if Auburn felt comfortable with those two guys as backups, they would have not went out there and got Thorne. So I think this was, even if you think Holden Geriner is, or if I'm even pronouncing his name correctly, even if you think he's good, this was a decision that needed to be made because all the other teams in the SEC West had their quarterback room become a lot deeper, right? They actually went out and got portal guys that may not actually be the starter. We've seen Alabama do it. We saw Arkansas do it. LSU's pretty locked in with their 2 guys. And now you just bring in an extra body. And then obviously the team that they're playing here, Ole Miss, they also brought in not 1 but 2 transfer portal quarterbacks. So getting that room deeper, especially with injuries in that QB room to where your season isn't sabotaged, is absolutely huge. So in that first play, you saw obviously the playmaking ability. You won't see Payton Thorne make that type of play. Now we see him step up in the pocket. It's actually some pretty good stuff. 2 hands on the football, obviously some good ball security, and he rips this thing into that window right there. Once again, down 21-0, and Ole Miss's defense isn't great at all. And coming up here, you will see the zone read Tutty to cap off this drive. And what's very interesting is Auburn ended up making this game competitive. We saw some really good things from Robby Ashford in this game. It's just you did not see him consistently really put together any good 4-quarter quarterback performances, right? He started off really hot versus LSU. The Auburn offense averaged 6.3 yards per play for that game, which is really good. But they finished the game off with 2 turnovers. Now, both of those turnovers at the end were not on Ashford, but still, he would just make untimely plays in other games, and you wouldn't see the consistency you would like to see from the starting quarterback. And also, there was just times where he just, quite frankly, did not see the field well at all. So, let's be real here. Robby did get better. There were some really good things we saw, and obviously this running ability, could you see a 2-quarterback system at Auburn? You very well could see it. I honestly just don't think Payton Thorne is all that great. So I think he's decent. Obviously that offense had some limitations, but still they had better receivers than what he's probably going to have to work with at Auburn. So you're going to get a step up in competition. Hopefully this Auburn offensive line, for you Tiger fans out there, hopefully they're a little bit better than what they were last year. If they're not, Payton Thorne will essentially become a little bit better version of TJ Finley. The good thing about Robby Ashford is you don't need absolute immaculate protection because you do have some of this running ability. So Let me know what you guys think about who's actually going to win this job, and I'll give you a bold take at the end of it. I think Robby Ashford's going to win it. I do. I think, his grittiness. I've read that he played through some injury last year. I hope he doesn't enter the portal after this news. It has been a very interesting journey for both of these top quarterbacks. Robby Ashford was a class of 2020 recruit. Payton Thorne was a class of 2019 recruit. Payton Thorne, I believe, has multiple years starters experience. Obviously, Robby Ashford only has one. What's very interesting is Thorne redshirted in 2019, okay? Then he started in 2020, started in 2021, and started in 2022. Even though he has 3 years of starters experience, it's kind of like the Jaden Daniels situation at LSU. He still has an extra year of eligibility on top of that. So Payton Thorne actually has 2 years remaining, and Robby Ashford did not play at all at Oregon. He still has 3 years remaining. So this Auburn quarterback room might very well be the youngest in the SEC in terms of eligibility remaining. Holden has 4 years. Obviously, the kid they brought in, Hank Brown, also has 4 years. So a lot to work with here at Hugh Freeze. I liked the Philip Montgomery hire. I liked their DC hire. So, look, I'm telling you, Auburn's got an uphill climb with the schedule, as many of you know, and obviously being the number 2 school in the state. But they have, from a football standpoint, done some good things. And we'll see if it actually turns out. But my bold take of the day, Robby Ashford still going to be the starter. Or, at the very least, they will use him in some 2 quarterback systems. But, could be totally wrong about it. So far, Payton Thorne has indeed had the better career. Now, what's really cool is we have done a lot of film studies recently, and I just love this play design right here. And this was, I believe, Cadillac Williams calling the plays here, or the head coach here. Running a go here, running a go here, and just a nice little wheel-ish route here. I believe they rotated motion 6 here. So we're just running a go here. Hopefully these 2 routes clear out and hold these 2 players. Pick it on a true freshman free safety right here. I think Bryce Anderson's going to be a really good player. And we get a good, easy completion. Hugh Freeze's offense does a really good job at generating good explosives as well. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! So if you want to see a few of our film studies, they are floating in your face right now. And tonight, it's Cinco de Mayo, baby. You know it's a Taco Friday, baby. Let's go. And let's see. I don't remember this play. Did Robby get in here? Look at that. Look at that speed right there. Let's go.